everybody, it's Georgia Weedman, author of Penetration Testing, a Hands-On Introduction to Hacking. This time we're going to take a look at pivoting. So we're going to exploit a machine and then use it to pivot onto other machines and networks. So let's have at it, shall we? Alright, IP adder. And again, yours is going to be different. Target is .3, we are .2. If we nmap SV .3. This one, it actually doesn't do a particularly good job of telling us that that is in fact our VSFTP vulnerability. We could run like the nmap scripting engine, the vulns check, like we did if we go back to finding vulnerabilities, and it would come up as positive. The point of this is pivoting, so la la la. So let's do MSF console and exploit that guy. And we want to use, let's search, because I don't remember the name. You'd think I'd remember it by now. Exploit Unix FTP vs FTPD command backdoor. Show our options if we don't remember them. We need to set our hosts to our IP address of our target, which is .3. Go ahead and exploit it. And who am I? Oh, no, got a little ahead of myself. Who am I? Oh, because it took the first part. Who am I? I am root. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's do an IP adder on this guy, and we'll see that, this is the IP address that we attacked it from. Again, yours is going to be different, but, the .3 on there. But if we look down here, it looks like we're also on this box. We have a second network. This box is dual homed, so it's also 192.177.190.2 on my side. So let's go ahead and background this session. Well, let me grab this and Control Z to background. In order to use what we want to use, we're going to use a module called auto route, and what it allows us to do is route traffic in Metasploit through an open session. So what we want to do, in order for that to work, we do need Meterpreter. So we do want to do our sessions -u for upgrade. So we want to upgrade session 1 to a Meterpreter session. The way this exploit works, it's just a backdoor login. So the only payload that's available to it is just a regular Unix command shell. But now that we have a session on it, we can, basically have it put Meterpreter for Linux on there. Oops. Sessions with an S. There we go. And we get now a Meterpreter session. So now on that same box, we now have Meterpreter. Again, the reason we needed to do that is because we want to use that auto route command, which allows us to, like I said, route traffic through an open session. So in an instance like this where it is dual homed, we can use that additional interface and use Metasploit to, automatically route traffic through that session and start attacking things that it can see, which we can't see it on our side. We're not on that network, but that box is. So if we use post multi manage auto route, show our options here, and we just need the subnet that we want to go to and the session that we want to route it to. We do want to route it through session 2. We have, if we look at our sessions, We have 1 and 2. 1 is just the regular command shell. Remember I said we need Meterpreter for this to work. So we need to route it through session 2. So set option to set 2 and set subnet to that subnet. You don't need the /24. Notice that it does have a net mask option. So if it wasn't a /24, we could change that. But it is, so that's the subnet we want to go to. So basically we just want to add a route in Metasploit that says, anything that is directed at anything in that subnet, route it through session 2, that box we exploited. So that added to the routing table. And from there, we can start seeing what's on that other network. We haven't seen them yet, but I did mention that there are scanners on here. So if we do like auxiliary, the only thing we are limited to with this option, which in the next exercises for pivoting, we will see, being able to break out of Metasploit, but we are limited to what's in Metasploit at this point. This route is in Metasploit. But we will, like I said, see ways to get things like Nmap and our other tools to be able to route through this as well. But for now, let's take a look at this. So we can, what is the name of the scanner? Use auxiliary, love tab complete for that one because I can't spell it. Scanner, and there are port scanners. And so there's SYN, TCP, Xmas. That's a Christmas tree scan, which again you'll never need to know about unless you're like taking a test. So we can do port scan, just TCP, and then show our options on here. And really the only thing we need here is our hosts. So we can set. You could do the whole subnet certainly, but the target is going to be .3. So set our hosts to, and that's going to be .3 on the new subnet. So make sure you have those middle 2 octets as your second subset, the one that we did the auto route for, because we're actually going to attack a box that is available to our box that we exploited already, but it's not available to us. It's on that separate subnet, and because we use that auto route, it is going to be able to talk to it through Metasploit. And the default is it actually runs ports 1 through 10,000, so it actually has more by default than Nmap, but anything above 10,000 it won't see. So it has basically SMB open on it. Again, we'll look at like being able to throw the Nmap scripting engine through it in a later one, but we can just we can do SMB vulns or whatever. But we've kind of stuck to some of the same ones. So actually, let's just use the exploit Linux Samba, the one you're used to, the is known pipe, because that's what it is. Show our options on that one. And set our host to, again, that .3 on the second subnet. We should be able to do a check on it. See, it is vulnerable, so I kind of hand wave my way through the finding of the vulnerability in this. You can use any Metasploit module, you can use checks, you can use scanners. Again, for this particular way of doing things with the auto route, we are limited to Metasploit. We don't have Nmap scripting engine. We don't have any like commercial vulnerability scanner, though as we'll see in the other 2 pivoting exercises, it is possible to break out of Metasploit as well. So, but let's go ahead and exploit. And we get our command shell. Who am I? I am root. If I just do an ls on my directory, it doesn't seem to like that very much. Oh, I'm in temp, that's why. Because in this one, actually the flag is in root, I guess, because you have to be root. I've said a million times they're always in temp. Sometimes they're in root. Of course, we could do the find command if we really wanted to, but if we ls-l the root directory, which we have access to because we're root, and then we can cat root flag.text. But I mean, you can always do the find command for it if you're not sure what it is. It's probably either in temp or root. So there's your flag on the second box. So what we did here was we exploited one box. There's actually a flag on that box as well, but we've exploited VSFTP so many times. I kind of gave you that one. We did an IP adder on that box, and we saw that it was dual homed. It had a second network. We used the auto route module in Metasploit to route all our traffic through. We did have to upgrade it to Meterpreter just so it would work. So we did sessions-u on it to turn it into Meterpreter. And then from there, we were able to use the auto route to route any of our Metasploit modules. We did a scanner, we did a port scan on it. You can do any of the scanners on there. We can even use exploit modules through there. We did the check command to prove it was there. Again, this is about pivoting, not about exploitation per se. And then we were able to exploit a vulnerability on a box that was not available to us. There's no way directly from this Kali box that we could see that box that had the Samba issue because it's on a different network, but our first exploit gave us access to a whole new set of boxes that we could potentially exploit. So pretty cool. And like I said, we were kind of limited to what's in Metasploit with this one, but we will see being able to break out of Metasploit and use other tools as we do the other exercises and pivoting. So that's all for this one, and I will see you next time.